men. And I use the term loosely, of course. I got the comments from the last video, so I want to comment on the comments. Well, let me preface this by saying that I asked the question in the last video about, what would the welding repair job I did be worth? And I asked that because I know there are people out there saying, well, I could have done that for $15. I could have done that for $50 or whatever, And I really don't know. I mean, I charge kind of a lot, I think, whether I'm totally out of line or not. So I wanted some feedback as to whether you guys thought I was in line, out of line, whether or not it was worth doing the repair. And yeah, I got some good responses on that. So we're going to talk about that. Bill PAYN-P1C says 3 days work at more than you could get for the bike. Yeah, that is entirely possible. That's a little more than I would charge him or did charge him. But yeah, I could see where the repair job could easily cost more than the whole bike is worth. Absolutely. There's no doubt about that in my mind. And now, 2 words from our sponsor.
Super clean.
Ooh, nice. Tom Alamano, 8642, says, like you told the customer, it's never worth it. Charge what you can, depends on where you live, and you have to enjoy doing it too. So is the mill big enough to throw the case half in there and surface the primary? And I'll tell you, some guys are eagle-eyed, and he says, what's that screw in the crankcase vent? Interesting commentary. But yeah, I suppose if you lived in a neighborhood where everybody was a welder, you probably can't charge as much for it as you could if you were the only welder in the middle of nowhere. Is the mill big enough to throw the case half in and surface the primary? Technically it is. Lengthwise it is. The mill has 9 inches of travel on the y-axis, and that's not quite enough to go across the width, the top to bottom width of the whole primary. Well, if I used a giant fly cutter, I could probably do that. But, realistically, it's much easier. I've got a 18 by 24 surface plate with a piece of 18 by 24 sandpaper, double-sided, stuck to it. Just so much easier to flop it over on the surface plate and give it a few strokes. And if it's anywhere near flat, that'll flatten it out for you. And then Mr. Tom Almano noticed there was a screw in the crankcase vent. Funny you should mention that. Okay, this is the doodad he was talking about. And right here in the middle there's a hole. And behind that hole is a diaphragm-type check valve. And on that particular oil transfer valve, the backside of the oil transfer valve, there's a little pressed-in collar in here, and that pressed-in collar retains the diaphragm-type check valve. On that particular check valve, the little collar had come out, and the diaphragm behind the collar was gone. So on this one, I can't poke anything through because I hit that diaphragm check valve. On that other bypass valve, the one he was looking at, the diaphragm and the collar were gone. So this was just a hole. There was no longer a check valve, it was just a hole. Now, some people routinely plug these, and I have plugged them upon occasion. And what happens is if you have a bike that wet sumps and you fill the crankcase with oil, eventually the oil will reach the level of this bypass valve and oil will seep through the check valve and fill up your primary cover with engine oil. not good. And if you the kind of guy who runs, say, ATF and 60 weight in the crankcase, well, those oils will mix. So some people routinely plug this up, and I've seen them plug by just putting a drop of weld on there. The way I do it is I thread this hole for a 632 screw. So anyway, his check valve had fallen out. And these things could be really a bitch to get in and out of there. But what I did was I just put a screw in there and plugged it. And he could either leave the screw in there and separate the primary trans oil from the engine oil, or he could take it out. But you don't want to take it out and leave it out, because now you just got a hole between the crankcase and the primary, which you really don't want. But the purpose of this thing, when the pistons are on the way down, the air pressure will force this check valve out against the body of the valve, and it will seal it up. When the pistons are on the way up, it creates a slight vacuum. The check valve opens, and it will put a negative pressure in the primary. Why Harley thought that was necessary, I don't know, but they did, and that's how it works. Now, the reason I quit plugging them routinely was I had a customer, and I plugged his because I thought it was the right thing to do. And he drove the bike a while, and he called me back. He says, hey, oil is getting pumped out of the little breather hole in the crankcase vent, the plug. Not the crankcase vent, the primary vent. The inspection cover vent hole, this guy right here. Oil was blowing out of there and soaking his pant leg, he claimed. So he brought the bike back to me. I took the primary cover off. These do come out. They're a bitch to get out. Unscrewed it, put a new one in there with the diaphragm and all that intact, and his problem was solved. So anyway, I quit routinely drilling them out and plugging them. Trying to remember. I don't even remember. I got my bike sitting here. I don't even remember whether I plugged it on my bike or not. I may have, I may not have, I don't remember. But anyway, that's why that screw is in there, because the diaphragm inside here was gone, and it just created a hole in the crankcase, and you don't want a hole in the crankcase. One other thing I want to mention about these is, upon occasion, well, like on that previous bike, this little collar, Preston collar, was gone and the diaphragm was gone. My conclusion is that it came out and it went through the engine. I don't know that for sure, but it wasn't in there unless somebody punched the little collar out or drilled it out from the back. I don't know how it would have got, what else would have happened to it. And I have seen these before where the collar and the little diaphragm are gone, and my assumption is they must have gone through the engine. I assume that, but I don't know that. But anyway, good comments, good questions. Glad he asked. Okay, next comment from Justin, MIJN-BUIS-Q1N. He says, instead of building up weld to replace the missing screw holes, could you just weld in a solid aluminum cylinder? You could, and you could, I suppose. I'll show you the one thing about that, though, that I don't like. Okay, imagine, if you will, that this is the wall of the primary side of the case, the sealing surface, if you will. And you got a screw hole that's busted out over here. Well, you get a piece of aluminum bar stock, whatever, 5/8, 3/4, whatever size you use. You drill a hole in the middle of it, you tap it, or maybe you wait till you're done welding it and you tap it. But anyway, you lay this on the primary and you weld it around here. Well, you got this whole area on the bottom where there's no fusion. Whereas if I start with a primary cover, if I start with a crankcase and the wall of a primary is such, and there's supposed to be a screw hole here, but it's all broken out. Well, if I grind away the broken stuff or grind the whole thing away and I start welding, I start laying beads down as such. And pretty soon I got a little mountain of weld. Well, I drill my hole in the middle here and tap it. This is fused all the way across the bottom. I got to think it's more substantial than something that's fused on either side. Plus, these kinds of welds can be a little bit difficult. So this is the way I do it. I just, if the screw is busted out, grind the damaged material away and just replace it all with weld, and you got a more solid repair. But anyway, that's why I do it this way and not this way. Although this is possible and a guy could do it, I don't know that it would save any time or be any easier. Anyway, just the way I do it. Okay, DJP Texas comments, you will never get paid what it's worth for the amount of time and knowledge it takes to repair it. If for a rare bike, yes. For your average sporty, perhaps not. But if it means something to the customer, I guess okay, nice job. Yeah, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. The average sporty is not really a collector's item. There are a few that are special, but the average one, probably not. The rare ones, of course, yeah, always worth it. But if, the owner, the customer, likes it for whatever reason, hey, go for it. Jeff Allen, 976, says, not worth it. I put 5K in an Ironhead and still a POS boat anchor. There's nothing you could do to make an Ironhead a good engine. Well, some people disagree with you, but yeah, I could see that. You could sink a lot of money in one and it's still going to be a piece of crap. William Renner commented, $1,500. He's not ridiculously far off. Kevin 747 says, when you show some of the extreme examples of cases, it makes me feel good about my 74 cases with just a few buggered up holes on the primary side. My 76 XLH runs good, doesn't leak much, other than the Yankee crossover shifter. It is a nice riding Ironhead. My problem is Ironheads in general. They are like the girl your mama doesn't want you dating, but you sneak out with to be with her anyway. There is no cure for Ironheaditis. Yeah, that's probably a true statement. John Ranallo 424 says, for most of my motorcycle riding life, repair, replace, maintenance costs were sometimes tough to meet. Finally, after all these years of something like that happened to my 69 XLC, I gladly pay for a quality repair. So yeah, worth it. Okay, Tin Man 7130 says, spend more, get better, ride sooner. If you don't commence your ownership of a classic Ironhead with the purchase of a $500 POS, you don't find yourself in this situation. Bargains never are. Good job saving the case. Good point. You buy a $500 basket case, these are the kind of problems you're going to find. And to me, it probably is always worth spending a little more money and getting something that's a little less jacked up with to start out with. But yeah, good point. Kopo Kitapu says, I figure it would have took less time and money just to find a new case. I expect you had a good day's worth of time into this case. Yeah, I had a day and a half in it, that's for sure. Yeah. Yeah, it took some time. The trouble is there's not a lot of good cases out there. Years ago I did a video on shit I find on eBay, and I could not believe the junk people are trying to sell, calling it rare, vintage, collectible, antique, and it's one step away from the scrap heap, let me tell you. Warren Combs 8256 comments, I could never ever see you discarding old cases. Interesting point. As a matter of fact, I have a case right now in my scrap aluminum tub, and it's cracked from where the sprocket shaft bearing is pressed into the left case all the way through to a cylinder base, to the base of a cylinder, all the way through, from the middle all the way to one edge. That's in my non-repairable, going to the scrap dealer aluminum guy. I'm going to discard it, I think. It isn't time to haul the bucket down there yet. It isn't full yet, but I might throw that one away. And the thing that's kind of funny about him mentioning this is this case was so jacked up in some areas that I actually went and looked at that case, and I was thinking about cutting a section out of the primary that had good screw holes in it just to replace, you know, like 3 bad screw holes in a row on the case I was working on instead of welding them all in. I just thought, well, I'll just replace a chunk of the primary with that. And there wasn't enough of the primary left that was any good to make it worth trying to do that on. But I do have a case in the going to junk pile that I might actually dispose of. We'll see. Frank Romero, 4048. Assume nothing. True words are never spoken, but if I'm taking something apart, believe me, I assume nothing. I get engines in here and they don't look too bad, and you think, well, do I really have to split the flywheels, or should I split the fly? You would be an idiot not to. Assume nothing. Assume they're no good. Assume the worst case, because it very well could be. Sportsters like that. Larry Sisk, 6562, says, I made his day. Good, I'm glad. User PC3QF5BW3E says, is it worth it? Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. When you want it fixed right, yes. Anyway, that's how I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you guys for responding. I'm comforted to know that I'm not totally out of line price-wise. Most of you guys seem to think that I was in a good ballpark as far as cost was, although I never told you what the cost was. It was fairly substantial. But anyway, yeah, very happy with the comments, happy with the results on that repair. So thank you all ever so much for taking the time to leave a comment. Appreciate it. Men, if you like this channel and this content, the single most important thing you could do to help grow this channel is to hit the subscribe button. I also have new design coffee cups and stickers available. You know, I like the old coffee cups, but I like these new ones even more. Links are included in the description down below. And for those of you who really want to go the extra mile, you could join me on Patreon. Link is also included in the description down below. And to all of you who have watched these videos, I'd like to say thank you. Thank you very much. I really, really do appreciate it. We'll see you next time. Bye.